in need of men who will be men today.
This is SP. Welcome to the Formula. We have Marquis here as usual. How you doing, Marquis?
What's going on, SP? What's going on, the Queen co-host, man, with the most, you know what I'm saying? We got a special guest here.
Yes, Kash.
What's
Cash,
going
AKA
on, SP?
It
Flow,
is
right?
a pleasure.
Hey, nice to finally be on with both of y'all. I know I'm
I've
gonna
been
enjoy this
trying
combo.
I've been trying for a while. I was trying under the old podcast, and it's nice to have you on this one.
Yeah, happy to be here. Happy to be here. How y'all?
I'm good.
You're doing real good, man. I guess the first thing to do is to introduce yourself, man. You're the best person to do so. So Cash Flow, like what should we be calling you, and let us know a little bit about yourself, brother.
All right, man. Cash or Cash Flow, whatever. I prefer Cash, man, for people that know me, that call me that for a while. Man, I do a lot of things: podcasting, rapping, producer behind the scenes when they're talking about the podcast, trying to get into the production on the music side of things. Won't necessarily call myself a producer yet. Got to earn that title. Been rapping for as long as I can remember. Took a long break, dropped Late Arrival. After that break, got some life in order, some things to be able to come back and release music freely and to, the level I would want people to hear it and spend money on it, you know what I mean? And then my latest release, Blank Canvas, EP, for 4 tracks, in and out, 12 minutes of your time. And I don't like to speak too much, you know what I mean, except for when I got the spotlight, and then I'll speak. But I don't like to keep people, man. I consider myself to still be a new artist, so I'm just trying to sprinkle it in there, give you the best, and walk away and work on the next project.
Oh yeah.
I listened to the new EP. It's nice.
Thank you. I appreciate that.
It was short and sweet, and I played it. I put it on repeat because I wanted to hear it again.
That's good. That's exactly what I was looking for. Make it come right back around. Right back around.
Well, since it's a topic, you work with 3 producers. You work with Ayo Shamir, you work with Greenery Beats, and you work with Numbs Music. Let us talk about those gentlemen for a little bit in that project.
So yeah, when it first started, it was gonna be solely produced by Numbs. But after a while, like, just some of the beats that he sent were fire, but nothing was coming to it to where I felt like I was truly shining on it. So then I had to open it up, because in my mind, I wanted to do a January release. I wanted to release it on my birthday. So once I get I don't know about y'all, but once I get a deadline or something set in my mind, I'm gonna stick to it by all means necessary. So I didn't want to stick to one producer just for the sake of saying I'm doing something with one producer. You know what I mean? I wanted it to fit organically. So I wanted to work with Greenery. I didn't get a chance to work with Greenery on my first project back out. So definitely wanted to do it this time around, and then really kind of just go from there. So he has 2 joints on there, and Shamir, he produced on Late Arrival as well. So he's back here on Blank Canvas, because I wanted to have something with just me and him and no feature. Shout out to JR on the feature from Late Arrival as well. So, but I all have, a relationship with each and every one of them. Some of us a little closer than others, but I mean, everybody has my phone number, so I feel like, I have theirs as well. So they took the time to give me some dope joints, man, and I appreciate it.
Because it's great that you guys actually know each other. You guys have a certain bond. Like you said, certain could be some. Of course, all bonds are not as strong as others, but but they still, you can probably consider them friends and consider them at least humans of good relations or something. I don't know, just
for sure.
Words or something, but
for sure.
You know what I mean. So I know them too as well. I don't know Ayo Shamir as much, but I'm getting to know him, and he seems like a standout guy. Great producer. Greenery Beats, I've been rocking with him for quite some time. And Numbs Music, I'm all on him.
Right.
Rapping in the he has a similar story to you. Won't you explain how y'all stories kind of relate, about rapping and getting back into the business?
Yeah, but first with Shamir, definitely a stand-up dude. Shout out to him for the podcast. He just produced the entire project with Mickey Fax, so it kind of works twofold, right? So we had him. We had Ayo Shamir on with JR when he dropped his project with Shamir, Greenery, DM Flood, a host of other people that had dope beats, and that's where I found all these guys from, with the exception of Nums. And shout out to my man Furious Styles. So kind of when we had him on there, I don't know if that was his first interview or they just had a good time. You see how just being a genuine person pay it forward. And he brings Mickey Fax on our project. I mean, on the podcast, the Don't Sleep on the Couch podcast that I do outside of music to give us that good look. You know what I mean? So those type of relationships are just built off of just being good, doing your research on people, and just being a good human being and helping them push their brand forward. However, whatever views or whatever it does. So that worked out. But back to your Nums question, it was just like, I was interviewing him, same thing on a podcast. This is before I even decided to go back into music. And it was just like shared a similar story. He stopped rapping for a while, was doing well in life, enjoying life, not necessarily, for whatever reason, and then just gets back into it and he starts doing well. He picks up an MPC, starts making beats, and the next thing you know, he's doing his thing. And at that point, I'm like, all right, that's fire. And then 2019, I think it was 2020. Into 2020, I jumped on a record on Furious Styles project, and that lit the fire in terms of, all right, I kind of like this dude. You know, you can see the rust in yourself, but it definitely wasn't I don't feel like I was a slouch on that. So at the point, 2 months later, I dropped 2 singles, and the rest is kind of history,
Man, listen, man, like I've been following like the guys in this circle that we've been mentioning, and it's just great to have a common bond of like not just kind of like the age range, and it's kind of similar. I think I don't know if you guys are younger than me, maybe a little bit, but but there's a I don't know if it's the maturity, but there's a lot of respect and a lot of with the circle of friends and people that you just mentioned, and I just love to hear their music, to hear their passion, and to see their grind. You know what I'm saying? And you remind me of you fall right in that category. You know what I'm saying? So I see you with that. I see you with a hat on, man. I don't know, man.
Yeah, man.
I know you wore it on purpose, though.
Don't be a hate. Congratulate, man.
Listen,
congratulate.
I'll bow down to the Philly. Listen, one of my best friends is a Philly fan. You know what I'm saying? So he's already on my cheeks, man. You know what I'm saying?
Hey,
but you know what I'm saying? So I'm a Giants fan. I'm just put it that way.
Okay.
And San Fran. So y'all beat both my teams.
Both. It's man. Sorry to hear that. But
talk about the Eagles.
Not sorry. Sorry, not sorry. I don't know. Yo, look, man, my whole entire life, we've been close but no cigar. Multiple NFC championship games with the Donovan McNabb teams, in the early 2000s and stuff like that. When you growing to love football. Wasn't in the 90s. We was kind of there. We're always competitive, but not really. Became a fan with Randall Cunningham. I'm from New York, so there's no reason I should absolutely be an Eagles fan. You know what I mean? Giants had 3 Super Bowls in my lifetime before the Eagles even won one. True. And but yeah, man, I just I stuck with it, man. We got that first chip a couple years ago, and now, man, this year seems to be our year, and we favor going into the Super Bowl, man. I can't help it. What happened to San Fran happened to San Fran. You know what I mean? You never wish for anybody to get injured or anything like that on the football field, but.
Come on, man. We was playing with the janitor. We played with the hot dog dude came down and was quarterbacking, man. Come on, man.
Hey, man. You know what I mean? Maybe next year, man. All is fair, man. Long as it ain't something serious and nothing like that, to where, like we had with DeMar Hamlin and stuff like that. Yeah. All is fair, man. All is fair. So, we'll take those 2 easy L's, as they would say, keep on trucking, and now we got to play Mahomes and them boys.
And this is how I go about doing things. I'm all about the NFC, right? So my team's not in it. I'm always voting for whoever's in the NFC. So I'm gonna vote for your team, in the Super Bowl. But I'm not on the bandwagon. Let's put it that
Yeah,
way.
yeah,
You know what I'm saying?
Absolutely.
It's the NFC.
So,
you know,
salute. That's respect. You know what I mean? I want y'all to win, but I'm not necessarily happy about it.
Thank you.
Got you.
Exactly. Now, your name Kash Flow, like when people look it up, man, I know they're gonna start getting relevant. You know what I'm saying? Like a lot of people are gonna be checking for your music. There's another, I think, is it a group or another artist?
It's like a little Spanish dude or somebody.
Spanish dude,
he look like he's from New York. That ain't me, y'all. I'm sorry, I ain't do all of the.
Yo, I'm like, let me go listen to it again, right? And so I'm like, I went on a different platform. I think I went on Amazon Music this time or something, right? So I look you up, boom. I see your music. I start playing. No, at first I'm like, he don't got nothing new. I know you got something new, but I'm like, you don't got nothing new like this. I'm like, what's this? Like this, I've never seen this album. And then I think I played it and I go, come on, man. I'm like, what's
Cash done went left, you know. He started doing, he decided to do drill music at 40.
Yeah, that's what it sounds like. So my question is really like, what are you gonna do to stand out from this dude, man? You know what I'm saying? I know he's not listen, he's not as good as you. I
much to stand out.
Yeah, I know. I'm just saying, what are you gonna do to stand out, get your name on the top? You know what I'm saying? Pier, you know what I'm saying?
Hey, shout out to him. I don't know who he is. He fellow New Yorker. We do different things. Y'all can honestly hear it in the music. So, I tried listening to it one time too, man. And I was like, yeah, this ain't for me, man. This ain't for me.
It's not. It wasn't for me.
It wasn't for a lot of people, apparently. But it is what it is.
SP, you good now? You clear it now.
Yeah.
Right. Okay, there you go.
It comes a time when you just have to say, you know what? No offense, but I can't.
Mission aboard.
And I learned that with auto-tune. I'm like, you know what? Y'all got it.
Yeah, I don't even gotta say nothing negative. It ain't for me. That's my new.
Oh, yeah, that's all. Yeah, I'm not a negative person. I was it was funny.
Me.
It was funny. I'm like, yo, he shares a name with a. I was wondering if you knew about it. That's why I was like, what if he knows about this other?
Cash got he dropped another LP on top. Let me see what this about. That ain't me.
But that happens with a lot of artists, you know what I'm saying? Like, there might be a lot of 50 cents or whatever, you know what I'm saying? Like,
yeah. Definitely got to look into a possible little, something unique. But for now, it is, we'll change it up whenever it's necessary.
Where'd you grow up?
New York City, Bed-Stuy and Lower East Side specifically. So spent time in both those places. Lived in the Bronx for like a year or two, but that was like in my teenage years. And I don't know if y'all know, but when you grow up in one hood, you can't leave that hood and go to another hood in your teenage years. So I just went back to Bed-Stuy. I picked my poison, so they both were rough neighborhoods, South Bronx. Huh?
No, I thought you froze for a little bit. I was like, oh no, I thought we lost.
Oh, no. But yeah,
I'm sorry. You missed a portion of that.
But no, they both, rough neighborhoods or whatever. But just a regular dude that grew up in the hood, but not necessarily did hood things. You know what I mean? You know how to navigate. You know how to navigate the block in order to get out. So that's where I grew up and left the hood at 18. Went straight to the Air Force, and that's where I've been ever since. For about 22 years. So, I'm at the tail end of my career, retired later on this year. So put in a hard 22 years and about to do something different, whatever that may be. Never know, might do podcasting full time and make a business out of that, or, just keep my money maker going and what I've been doing in the healthcare industry. And then, just keep that as my gravy train to keep pushing the music.
So you were in a roundabout, basically.
What's that?
SB, you were saying something? SB, good. I cut SB off.
Yeah, because I'm from San Antonio. So as soon as you said Air Force, you got my full attention.
Yeah. Oh, I've been in San Antonio so many times in the last 22 years. I know my way around it like that's my second home. So yeah, I definitely frequent San Antonio often.
Yeah, I was gonna ask you about the bases you've been to. Where have you been stationed?
I've been stationed in Northern Cali. I've been in Illinois, kind of on the Illinois, St. Louis border there. Also been to Korea. I'm in Virginia now. Stationed out here at Langley. Where else have I been overseas? Germany, Korea, Japan, deployed to Qatar. Been to multiple places while I've been in Europe the last 6 years. So I just came back from Europe, Germany the last, this year, this summer. So yeah, I've been all over. There's a lot of places to name, visit, traveled all over the world.
So Germany is one of those places that are really into hip hop. Did you ever dive into their hip hop scene, and what was it like for you?
You never really had to dive into their scene because they listen to our stuff. So the artists that come over there are our legacy acts, and also the current acts. Like they're serious about it. Like they're still, doing little mosh pit type stuff, and they know every line. They know every line in the rap, no matter if you're talking about somebody that's kind of bubbling up or definitely a legacy artist. So countless people out there. Nas concert stands out for me out there in a little intimate settings. Kendrick Lamar in the intimate setting. Earth Gang, Jid, J. Cole, like lot of dope artists. Beyonce and Jay-Z and Kanye West for the Watch the Throne back, a couple years back. So but those concerts were crazy, man. They were crazy, from the big ones all the way down to the intimate settings, and I'm probably forgetting a few. So I made my way around to the concerts overseas.
Oh,
for sure.
Getting me more jealous, man.
Yeah, man.
Have you noticed the difference between the audience enthusiasm and overseas? Is it different than it is in the US?
Yeah, I see the artists give 10 times better performances based off the reaction of the crowd overseas. Here, I just went to a Pusha T concert like this past fall out here in Virginia. He's in his home state. They gave him a good reaction, but they still was too cool. You know what I mean? It was too cool for me. It was too cool for me. You know what I mean? And they was nodding their heads, and they was giving him the proper respect for being from VA, but it wasn't like a lot of the folks that I saw overseas and where they were just going insane at any time they saw their favorite artist. So it's a difference, but it just depends on where you at. I just know, my experiences out there is that every concert I went to was pretty fire, from hole in the wall to a big stadium.
So when you start touring, man, I know you're gonna go global. You're gonna start. I know you're gonna look forward to like going to certain locations. What locations are you looking forward to touring to? That you saw other artists performing.
It'd probably be like Belgium, Luxembourg, pretty much anywhere. Like Paris is definitely big on hip hop. There's a lot of places in Germany. Frankfurt, for one, is big on hip hop. I'm trying to think of other places. Ghana right now, as you see, Meek just went to Ghana. Like they're opening up a lot more to more artists. So I mean, as far as Europe goes, it's you name it, man. You name it. Prague does a lot of shows. So those are some of the shows I've actually been to in like small settings. You know what I mean? The only problem with overseas right now is that they don't really pay artists as much, but you get the experience. You know what I mean? So you don't get paid that much to go over there. And certain things you got to get in your rider and all these different things lined up, hotel stays. So it's like stuff like that keeps them from getting prominent artists that are over here stateside, but they get their fair share, because who turns that down, man? Like to get their stuff in front of worldwide fans.
It's surprising you say that, because there's a lot of artists that America doesn't, I would say, respect to full extent anymore. I'm gonna give you an example, like Ed OG. I'm just gonna use a Boston artist, but he tours a lot in Europe or wherever, and he's every year, or like mostly the whole year. Here, like you said, if he comes here, they're like, hey, Ed OG, but if he's over there, they're like they're quoting every line, every bar from not just his old stuff, his new stuff.
Rest in peace to MF Doom. That was another one that he did well overseas. Cool G Rap does well overseas. Who else? I'm trying to think of other people I've seen. Terminology and Static Selector. I've seen them like use overseas real heavy.
Yeah.
So it's a lot. It's a lot of people that like you may think just because they quote unquote mixtape rapper or underground rapper, but they
Mhm.
make their living overseas. You know what I mean? Every time they make an album and it makes a significant amount of a splash. So definitely wouldn't underestimate it. And it just goes off your analytics. You can you can see where your podcast is streaming, you can see where you're streaming overseas and target that area, find a promoter that's respectable that you trust. And you go for it, man. I definitely would love to do that if that ever came to fruition. You know what I mean?
That makes a lot of sense. Yep. Yeah, that's
Do you think? Well, it's been my experience, so I'm asked. I wanted to know: have we gotten to a point where we are too cool to be fans now? Because I've talked to some guys, and I've literally lost my like. If I talk to uh DJ Jazzy Jeff, I would lose my shit.
Right, right. Yeah, I know. Fan
Yeah,
out.
I would
Yep.
just lose all sense and sensibility. So, do you think that hip hop fans in America have gotten comfortable, and we just think we deserve a certain amount of stuff?
To a certain extent, yeah, there's a lot of shows I went to where shit I could rap Jay-Z's ad libs when I went to
Yeah.
watch the Throne concert. Damn near lost my voice. I didn't care who saw me, what I looked like, you know what I mean? Because
sweat
I mean
driven.
at
Yeah.
the
Yeah.
right at the I mean like doing the podcast at the I mean like you're a fan. If you're interviewing somebody, you're a fan of their music, you're giving them time. There's nothing wrong with that. Fan supporter. People have a weird thing with words nowadays. But I think, yeah, because we get it so much, we hear so many rappers. I mean, our little cousin around the corner, Pookie raps, you know what I mean? So it's just like you get inundated with you get inundated with all the music so much, and concerts are plentiful especially if you live in a decent size city that gets concerts that come through to their coliseums or whatever spots that they have, hip hop spots. Then yeah, you get very comfortable with it, and then you get in there and you become too cool, and then that doesn't give the energy to
Mhm.
that artist to perform, because if they know that you know their records and stuff like that, you never know what type of show you may get. You may get the deep cuts that you really want to hear, that you
Yep.
enjoy besides the hits.
Mhm.
You know what I mean? But it don't get to that point, or they don't do certain things in the show if you're just not giving that energy. So the last two concerts I've been to here, one was an R&B and one was a rap concert, and I thoroughly enjoyed the R&B concert way more.
Oh wow.
No, I've been listening to you for a while. And so when you came on, I was like, I'm excited as a fan to even talk to you.
Oh man, I appreciate you, SP. I appreciate you. I appreciate you. See, that's humble. That, you know what I mean? Like, and I appreciate coming on here, because y'all always look like y'all having a blast on
Yeah.
here. Everybody's laughing. Everybody feels comfortable on here. So definitely appreciate that.
Well,
It's
we're fans first, right? You know what I'm saying? And and that's what I think, man, SP bring to the table. Like I always tell people, we got millions of questions, but most of our stuff is organic because we like having conversations with people.
And I grew
Yeah.
up in Texas, so hip hop when I was growing up was a challenge to get. You know what I mean? It wasn't like I could just go to the store. It might be one hip hop CD and the rest is country and rock and pop, and so we had to work to get hip hop. So I remain a fan, even of the newer artists. When they come on, I am just genuinely excited that
Yeah.
anybody want to talk to me.
Right. And speaking of Texas, like when I first came into the military, like I always tell this story, like if it wasn't for my some of my homies that's from all over the US at this point, or maybe they were military brats, you know what I mean? I wouldn't know about the Texas scene. I wouldn't know
Yeah.
about Northern Cali scene, Keep the Sneak, and those types. Once they introduced me to, I mean, I know I'm dating myself, but like the Slim Thugs of the world, and stuff like that. Like Slim Thug became one of my favorites. You know what I mean? Like I never would have thought I would listen to anything Screwed Up or nothing like that, but I started
Yeah.
to enjoy his music. You know what I mean? So being like, even from being from the city, you know, New York, like you still missed a lot of stuff that was going on in the rest of the country, how people was doing it independently and stuff like that, and a lot of stuff in the South, you know, that, you know, Texas or, you know, Midwest and stuff like that. So I get what you're saying about like just being from, you know, those type of places where it wasn't prevalent in you know, hip hop's infancy. You know what I mean?
It's your work-life balance. You got the military, you know, like you said, you're retiring, but like prior to that, like how did you balance, you know, with that with your family?
It's tough, man. A lot of arguing. You know what I mean?
It's like a lot of
Like
arguing.
just a lot of arguing, to be honest with you, to find work-life balance. You know what I mean? If I've been in 22 years, you got to imagine I'm not like in a certain position. I'm in certain leadership positions. So I don't have the time throughout the day to just write raps or make a beat on my lunch break. Like, you know what I mean? Like I got people's careers and stuff you know, in my hands, and or just kind of moving around, moving and shaking. So when I come home, I'm tired as hell, but I still got kids, you know what I mean? I still got to do my part. But some days it's just like, hey, I got to finish 3 records. I got them all. I'm gonna knock them out in like 3 hours, I promise. And whatever I don't knock out, I'm gonna come finish up, do the baths, do the homework, or whatever it may be. You know, just give me these 2 days or this weekend. I'm taking them. You ain't got to worry about them. We going to the, you know, trampoline park. We be there for 4 hours. Go do your thing. You know what I mean? Like, so it just take those kind of sacrifices to where, yeah, even on a weekend where I'm tired, and I may have done 3 podcasts that day, you know, it just takes communication, man, to be honest with you, to do it. Because most of the time I have no idea how I get half the things done. But, you know, she does support me. You know what I mean? She don't really want to listen to the music, the wife, but you know, you know, because to her, you know, to your significant other, or you know, people close
She
to
hear you every day.
you
She don't want to hear them.
yeah, yeah, it's like dog, and then that presents like a coolness factor to me, to where you could still, you know, be you know what I mean, and not necessarily be enamored with what's happening. But I know she see it moving though. You know what I mean? I know she see it getting better, and you know, my wife, she'll admit it once it's right there. So you know, she got that type of he got game father approval.
High standards.
You know what I mean? Yeah, high standards. You know what I mean? So she'll definitely let you know when it sucks or when it's right.
That's cool. When you how do you find that time to just relax, just in your own mind, in your own space, just to shake it all off and just be?
And I got a little tribe here. You know, I got 4 kids. One's in college and one is you know, still here, my high schooler. So like they all got their different things going on. So I enjoy whatever they got going on. If they got a track meet, I'm trying to get to the track meet. If they got a basketball game, I'm trying to get to the basketball game to cool out and watch it. I don't have the time to coach and do all those things that I want to do right now, but hopefully upon retirement I will. But just really chilling with them, watching movies, playing PlayStation. You know, these boys have PlayStations and they'll play you out. But you know, me and my son, my oldest, we have heated rivalries in 2K and Madden and stuff like that. And we talk real crazy to each other, but that's our bonding time. So that's the stuff that I like to do, you know, and definitely you know, scheduling rest in, you know what I mean? I know that sounds weird, but like we're you know, my wife and I, we both in the military, so we got like have a regimented schedule, you know, with as much that we got going on, you know what I mean? We relatively still both senior in our careers, so it's tough to find downtime, but we do take the downtime. We don't do a whole lot every weekend, and then when it's time for us to go and chill and relax and take a real vacation, we take a real vacation and we roll out. You know what I mean? But we plan everything right down to a T, and you know, and that's how we balance things out.
Yeah, that's good. Uh, Also, what I was wondering, because you had both of you are in the military. Um, how does that work with like deployments and keeping
Uh,
stuff in order? Because people don't understand that when military families are separated, it's not just the person who's gone that's going to have issues. It's the people who are left behind that also has these insurmountable issues that they have to deal with also. So how did y'all work with that, especially with the deployment?
we have an incredible support system in terms of our family. Some retired, some just we just communicate with them like, hey, I may need you because I'll give you a prime example. Like when my youngest son was like maybe 6 months, they deployed my wife, right? So I
Mhm,
had to me and him, 6 month old, and for about 6 months, I had to go to a class for about a month and a half.
mhm,
Mother-in-law, she came, got the baby, took him back. I had to go to my course in Texas, was there for, my 6.5 weeks. She gave me an extra 2 weeks to reacclimate when I got back, brought him back. We finished it up. She finished her
mhm,
deployment. And then on the flip side, all throughout when I was in Germany, I had a job where I was on the go at least, 4 months out the year when you really combine it, the week here, the 2 weeks there, and stuff like that. But, my wife, she at the time, she didn't really go nowhere like that. So she could hold it down. Me, I'm the one that got the problem. You know what I mean? When it
yeah,
comes down, you know what I mean? But yeah, still with that said, we had a lot of great friends with overseas. Like you band together even more because all you got is each other. So you make some good friends over there. You definitely keep them, you know what I mean? And they keep, your spouse company or you company just to kind of help you out, bring meals and stuff like that. So that's not uncommon. So like friends and family
mhm,
support system, huge, huge, huge in those transitions. We haven't had a lot while we've been married, like to where it really messed up anything or whatever the case may be. But those are like two times that stand out to where it was like, yeah, we had to call in, some reserves to help us out.
Does military regulations and rules did they play effect on you and your wife raising your kids?
Yeah, for sure, for sure. But just kind of what's embedded in us in terms of structure and stuff like
mhm,
that. I know we expect a lot of our kids. You know what I mean? So we may be a little bit more disciplined or a little bit more harder on them because what we've gotten. We both come from, I won't say nothing, but humble beginnings. You know what I mean? So now they're in a better position to do things for themselves as they kind of learn. They grow up. We have two little ones, two older ones, but you know what I mean? That's the difference. I would say it's just like super duper structure, super hard on them, but that's the only way we know how to be. You know what I mean? Right
mhm,
now, you know what I mean. Until I retire and let some of that go 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 mentality out of me
mhm.
and kind of can pace a little bit. But yeah, that structure, like that military structure is crazy. Like you'd be surprised after being in so long how much it's in you, even though I consider myself a laid back person.
Okay.
Yeah, I work I did hospice for a lot of veterans.
Mm,
That's kind of my thing. And what I've noticed, I would, even when they are disabled and you are trying to give them a shower, they have this regimen and everything is lined up. And there's no deviation from what you're going to do from when you start to when you finish. So yeah, I when you said that, it kind of popped in my mind that I had this guy who would lose it with the CNA because she'd want to like brush his hair before he brushed his teeth or something like that.
Oh
yeah,
wow.
I mean, the older you get and the more you get into your regiment, yeah, for sure. But yeah, it's definitely like that with us. You know what I mean? And I think you know, most people would benefit from a schedule or just something that they stick to over the
Mm-hmm.
course of time. You know what I mean? Because, you know, not all of us are bloom the same way, you know what I mean? But if
Yeah.
you stay consistent and keep working at something, whatever it may be, and you break it down into little small fragments, and then all of a sudden, all right, now you got your degree, or you break it down into this, and now you got whatever LLC that you was building, or whatever you trying to do for you. You know, you just got to break it down in small fractions, but it don't happen without having some type of schedule or regiment that you stick to.
Yo, shout out to you know, your family, your wife. I want to get back to music. I got a question about you know, I've been hearing a lot of artists, you know, do renditions of you know, not just albums or maybe just classical songs. If you had a choice and you know remake,
If I had a choice, and say it one more time, you got kind of hung up.
which classic record would you remake respectfully?
Mm, damn, classic record I remake. I would probably say, I don't know, man. I would want to do that Cam and Jay-Z joint again. Welcome to New York City.
Ooh, yeah, that's a good one.
That's a good one.
Yeah, I would want to do that again. You know, I feel like they
Listen,
they they
I like
smoked
that.
it, but I feel
I
like
would,
they left a lot on the table.
yeah, like something else could be done on it. You know what I'm saying? Like you bring some
Yeah,
more heat
yeah,
on
yeah. And that's just Blaze. That's just Blaze production, one of my favorite producers ever. So yeah, for sure, for sure. That's one of them records, man.
You getting into your producer bag, man. When can I legitimately call you a producer, brother? When can I say, yo, I know the rapper Cash, but when can I start calling Cash the producer? I don't know if you're gonna have a new name for it, but you know what I mean.
Nah, it'd be the same thing, but it'd be real soon. I just gotta sit down and make stuff that I'm proud of. I got some good stuff. It's just, you know how it is when you ain't super duper confident in it quite yet. You ain't gonna put it
Yeah.
out. But
Mhm.
yeah, I got some stuff I've sent off to a few people so far to rap on. So hopefully you hear it in that vein before you hear me on it. You know what I mean? So it's not bad. It's just me overthinking stuff at this point. But I could have easily put out a track or two on this EP of something that I produced. I feel like I'm ready to go. I just ain't do it yet. But when you'll see it soon. It'll be this year for sure. It'll be this year for
The
sure. Not sure
self-produced
when.
album is coming soon. The self-produced album is coming soon.
Yeah, we may start with we may start with EP.
I'm gonna give you
we
that
take
confidence
baby.
right now.
We take baby. We take baby steps.
I'm building you up, brother. I'm building you up.
For sure. Hey, yeah, man. I need that type of energy, man, to get me going.
Took you from an alto to a soprano real quick.
Yeah.
Ooh, me.
Yeah. Maybe not.
I think a lot of people would benefit from taking their time and paying attention to what they put out before they. You just never know who's gonna hear your stuff. And
Right. And then when you do, you got to be ready to take off. Like it got to be
yeah,
second nature to you. You can't be,
Yeah.
you know what I mean? So you
like that
gotta
was
put
Snoop.
in, you know, right. You gotta put in what they say, the 10,000 hours or something like that. You know what I
Mm-hmm.
mean? We were just talking about the podcast before we came in there. I could teach somebody how to podcast. I could teach you what software to use, what not to use. I know that like the back of my hand from doing a podcast for 4 years, but that don't happen without trying and failing a lot more than you succeed. You know what I mean? So I need to do the same thing on a production side because I respect producers way too much. You know what I mean? And people get out here and they run with it and that's that's what they do, you know what I mean, and they may not be the most talented at it and people may gravitate to their sound and to each your own, you know what I mean, but I got a lot of different pockets of music I enjoy, you know what I mean. I probably listen to R&B more than I listen to rap, you know what I mean, so I
Yeah.
see myself producing R&B more so than rap, you know what I mean, so I may not
Which
be
is dope.
making
Hey,
right, I may
yeah,
not
which
be
is dope.
making the boom bappy raps, production because that's not my style. You know what I mean? I got dope producers that do that.
Yeah.
I know a Numbs, I know a Furious Styles, I know
Yep.
a
Yeah,
Greenery, I know a Shamir. Why would I want to make the same type of shit they make?
Yeah.
We can meet somewhere and kind of dabble and sound have similar sounds, but I want to make other things, that they may necessarily not make themselves and get on their stuff. You know what I mean? And we all
Mhm.
become an asset to each other as opposed to,
Mm.
just kind of biting off of each other. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So your strength is podcasting. Let's talk about your strengths, podcasting. Man, you said 4 years strong. Give us some feedback on what makes a good podcast, and and where are you going with your podcast from now to the future.
Yeah, so for me, I like good dialogue, good conversation, informative conversation. I also like the ignorant shit too. But you gotta it depends on what I'm going for, you know what I
Yeah.
mean? I'll listen to the nerdiest of sports podcasts if the dude is informative about the teams and the sports I want to hear about. If it's about music and hip hop, I respect the Elliot Wilsons and B Dots and it's another dude from Complex that used to do it, and I forget his name, young black dude, you know.
Yeah, I can't remember
But
too. I remember
anyway,
yeah.
you know what I'm talking about.
Yeah.
He do
Can't remember. I have to look it up. I
The
ain't gonna lie.
yeah.
what is this? I just read one of his tweets.
Okay, so yeah, it's gonna be. I'm probably gonna remember as soon as we get off the damn this
Don't
call.
worry about it. Keep going with the story,
But
man.
but yeah, so the moral of the story is I do like podcasts that are informative, that have a consistent flow. They don't
Mhm.
overstay their welcome. I gotta almost love your podcast to stay more than an hour. You know what I mean? So you
Yeah.
got to be well established before you do, over an hour. And because people go trail off, but that's just me being, on what I listen to. But it just got to be fun. You know what I mean? People got to sound like they're having fun, can't be dull and stuff like that. Visually,
Mhm.
you should be trying to look your best. Audio wise, if you call yourself a podcast, your audio has to sound great. If it
Yeah.
doesn't, I'm out. I'm out within the first 5 minutes. I
You're
don't
like,
care how much I like what you're talking about.
you're like,
I'm out. You know what I mean? Yeah. I'm a stickler for sound, and at the bare minimum, if you're a podcast, just make sure your quality audio is that, because people will leave in 5 seconds flat if your audio ain't right. Your video, all right, it take a while to get right in some cases in your video, for people, but the audio, if they can't hear you, you sound staticky and it goes crazy. You know what I'm saying? These web ones that we do, that's gonna happen. You know what I mean? I think
yeah.
people
Mhm.
accept that. People accept that, but the lion's share of your show should be palatable for most people in terms of just listening and hearing the
100%.
information. So those are the things that I look for in podcasts. We're also a network, so we definitely look into, I keep saying we, my homeboy, it's now me. But just definitely looking to expand to kind of teaching people and giving people affordable options, because if you look up how to start a podcast and you haven't really looked deep into it, you're gonna be for
Lost.
hours and hours and
Lost.
hours.
Yeah.
You
You know,
you can look deep into it and you still hours and hours and
yeah,
hours. I know I like to lost my mind when we first. I was like, I don't know what to buy. I don't know where
right,
somebody said just start with your phone, and then somebody said, it's
yeah,
just so many different opinions,
This
and
guy
it's
right
so
here knows it
hard.
all right here. This guy right here. You
yeah,
gotta make a
It's
book. You gotta do a
always
book
so
one day.
hard to find people who are even willing to give you advice, because they have all these classes, but the classes are like, first thing you do is you make sure you have good equipment, but they don't tell you about the equipment. Then the
Yep.
second thing you do
yeah, and they don't get right to it. You know what I mean? Like,
is
but that's the other,
sponsors,
yeah,
but they don't tell you how or what, who, what,
yeah.
none of
How
How
you
to
gonna
none of
get
that.
to
sponsors, where to
So
start. Yeah.
Yeah, how you gonna get to sponsors if you ain't even like got no listeners? Like it's certain things
Yeah.
you got to do when you go into these businesses and stuff like that. Like I've stayed away from sponsors because I want to get the numbers to where I feel confident walking into a business saying, "Hey, $100 a month, I'll advertise you within the first 5 minutes of my podcast." But it also got to be a business I respect too. You know what I mean? But I'm
mhm.
not just going to market. I'm not just not going to market anything. You know what I mean?
Only
So
40 ounces or something.
Right. Yeah.
Yeah, you're
Yeah.
not gonna
Some
hear
like
it.
not
Yeah,
stuff that don't even go with the brand and what
yeah,
you
yeah, yeah,
delivering.
exactly.
You know what I
Yeah.
mean? Like if I'm gonna go to, name of, Gatorade or something like that, because I talk about music and sports. That fits, right? You know what I mean? Just
Mhm.
doing with things that work. Some people are not for the ads and stuff like that, and to each his own. But if you just like, you and I, where we just kind of getting it off the ground and we moving and shaking, you know what I mean? I say start with quality first before you even thinking about ads and stuff
Exactly.
like that. Make sure you got the passion for it and don't spend a whole lot of money at first.
Yep.
Go 6 months. I got a 6 months plan for you. I got a year plan. If you want to
Yep.
talk to me after a year when you want to level up, hey, just put the coins to the side because when we talk, it's going to be 500 here, 500 here, lights here. Like, you know what I mean? Like we about to talk
Mhm.
about a lot of numbers and you're gonna think it's overkill, but once you have it set up, you're not gonna have to really do too much unless you start looking
Yeah.
at stuff over the course of time and you like, oh, I'm all
Mhm.
right, this could work for my flow. Everything is with whatever works for your flow. Some people use MPCs, some people use that some people use different type of equipment to get to where they want to do production wise. So same thing for podcasting. There's no one-stop shop. You know what I mean? But I could give you a ton of alternatives and that PDF and that book and those courses, that's gonna come. But again, y'all talked about time management earlier.
Yeah.
I mean,
Mhm.
you know what I mean? That's once I go down that road, I get very, very into quality of it if I'm delivering a good course. So the PDF may be something I go to first because that's
Okay.
something that's easy, don't require a whole lot of time. But yeah, that's definitely something. As soon as the website is done, it should be done in the next 2 weeks or so. That's gonna be one of the things that I offer for people.
Dope. So is it like a regular website or is it one of the
Oh no, yeah,
like
GoDaddy.
regular. Yeah, yeah.
Go-
I mean, to a certain extent, everybody does the Squarespace and all that stuff.
yeah.
It'd be something in that vein, but just kind of, stuff that lets you do a whole lot of your own organization is probably not the word I'm looking for, but just however you do it, that has a lot of
The
different ways that
layout.
you layout, yeah, the layout to so you can do whatever type of layout you want. Overall,
Mhm.
the goal is to go to blankcanvas.com or whatever I choose to name it. That's where the music lives. That's where the videos live. That's where the podcasts live. You know what I mean? Just start driving traffic to your website because any reputable business, sorry, they want to see what you doing, and they don't want to go to some random website. They want to go to what your business is about. And if you don't have
Mhm.
your own website where you have your music, everything that you do, your production for sale, like, do you expect another business to kind of take you seriously? Probably not.
Mhm.
You know what I mean? So that's kind of my goal ultimately, is to all this time that I'm putting into stuff. While yes, I love it, and you know what I mean, but I do take a lot of time away from my family. And if I can make a dollar off of the things that I've failed at, in terms of taking chances, buying equipment, stuff that I don't really use that much, but I have in a cut just in case I need it, I'm going to try to make that back in some sort of way, what I mean,
Yeah.
and make that as another, form of income.
You got podcasting going. You got the hip hop music going. This year is the 50th year of hip hop. Are you planning to do something, or is that going to be in the making? Something with the podcast and some with the music.
Man, not right now, but I'm trying to think of something that'll stand out, whether it's me dropping music or just really just something that's really chronicling, like do something like a short series in terms of just hip hop at 50. You know what I mean? Where you just
Mhm.
kind of bust down the different eras and have different people come on. And my pops is heavy into music. That's the reason why, I even like rap. You know what I mean? This
Yeah.
dude is let me listen to crazy, crazy music at the time. You know what I mean?
NWA and stuff.
Unfiltered,
Yeah.
raw hip hop as a child. Right, as a child, you
Too
know what I
short.
mean?
Yeah.
So I definitely want to get people from different eras of hip hop and just tell their stories,
Mhm.
first concerts, what was Melly Mel like, you know what I mean? Like just being from New
Oh
York,
man.
there's a lot of different. there's a lot of different
Yeah.
people I could tap into that was outside during that time. And then, you know, I got the people from our age range that could tell their stories from the mid 90s to the 2000s, and to get some of the younger generation to talk about, you know, the Lil Uzi Verts of the world and stuff like that, and what they listening to now, you know, and do something like that. So that's like stuff that I'm thinking about doing,
Mhm.
where I can incorporate all the generations, just to have like just a combo, you know what I mean?
Yeah, my first concert was Run DMC
Mm.
with LL Cool with LL Cool J, Kurt and Curtis Blow.
Mm.
Dang, mine's was a Hammer concert, so you got me beat. But
Hammer go.
Hammer don't hurt him.
Hammer
Hammer
don't
don't
hurt
hurt
him.
him. Hey, look, man, you can't tell me nothing about Hammer,
No, I
man. He was
like
my
no,
first
no, no,
favorite
no.
rapper.
Already.
He my
I love Hammer. I love. Listen, I'm a Hammer fan. I tell
I'm a
people all
Hammer
day, I'm a
fan.
Hammer fan.
Yo, I like some of the most the wildest people, you know what I'm saying, throughout different
Yeah.
eras. Hammer at one point in the 90s. Mace was my guy. Like, I know people
Mace.
talk a lot of shit about
Oh,
Mace, you
Mace
know
is
what I
dope.
mean?
Come on,
You know what
man.
I'm saying? You
Come on.
know, in the
Yeah,
mid
I was a Tone
2000s.
Loc fan. I've been to a Tone Loc concert.
I like
See,
Tone
it's a
Loc. Tone
lot.
Loc was dope. Tone Loc was
Yes,
dope. Yep. Stop
it's a
playing.
lot of people like that
Stop
to
playing.
where, like, you know, just certain people
Yeah,
in their styles. Certain people in their styles. It's not always about what you saying, it's how you saying it. You know, Snoop, you know what I mean? Like,
Rob
nobody
Bass
sounded
and
like Snoop
Domino.
when he came out. You know, it's just certain people, man, that just
Mm-hmm.
stand out. You know what I mean? And they're not the obvious choices, of course, but you know, we all got our favorites, and then you got your consensus top 10, where you really kind of look at the body
Yeah,
of work, and you get to arguing about your list and stuff like that.
yeah.
But you know, talking about favorites, man, like my favorites are, you know, probably got some of your regular people, Jay-Z, Nas, but then after that, it's all Kiss, Beanie
Mm,
Siegel,
mm.
you know what I mean? And then, you know, when we talking about just West Coast, Snoop for me, you know what I mean? But it depends on where I'm at in the time when you ask me that question. My favorites
Mm-hmm.
rotate, you know what I mean?
Oh,
Yeah, because I don't care what nobody say. Domino was the shit.
Hey, can't tell you no different. That's your favorite, you know what I
Nah,
mean? And now,
yeah, Domino and Rob Bass. We would
oh,
jam.
Rob Bass. Oh, come on, man. That's they used to say I look like Rob Bass. So I mean, like, I had to learn the lyrics. I can get the girls. You know what I'm saying? Hey, listen. I'll be Rob Bass
hey,
and get the draws, dog. I'll be Rob Bass.
hey man, that's good, man. I know a lot of, you know, now the Murder Mace, regular Mace, like I was maced out, man, back in
Yeah.
them days. Man.
That's kind of
Bad
how
boy.
I am with UGK.
Oh man, yeah.
Yeah.
So I caught on to them. Another group I caught on to, Super Late, Outkast, Super Late. You know, they was
Oh,
already doing their thing. But I'm talking about
Hmm.
Super Late, like
probably
in
like a
the
year later or
early
something.
2000s, you know, early
Okay.
2000s, to where like they already had dropped ATLs. You know what I mean? They already did the Source Awards stuff, and you know, it was true. They just really wasn't big up there. You had to respect what they did. You know what I mean? But
Yeah.
UGK, we wasn't playing UGK on the radio
Nah,
in New York
not up
City.
here. Not
It
Boston, New
wasn't
York.
ha-
Yeah. Nah.
it wasn't happening. So if you wasn't exposed to it, and also artists from the East Coast and people that I listened to wasn't embracing the South like that either. So it
No.
was hard to build. It was hard to build that bridge. So yeah, of course it's hard to become a fan of people you never heard of that do hip hop in a totally different way.
Yeah, I
Or
remember
so.
I've been a fan of UGK since before they was famous, when you could go to his mama house and eat pigtails. You know what I
Port Arthur,
mean?
go to Port Arthur, eat some pig.
Yeah.
Damn. What the hell?
Hey, man, look, man, I got some country people on the other side, on my you know, white side. So I know exactly what she talking about. They from the South, man. They eat
I know they eat the
all
whole they
sides,
rooted to the
of the
tutor.
pig.
Yep, all sides.
Yeah,
Rooted
Yeah.
to the
man.
tutor. Yep, I know.
All sides, man.
From the rooter to the
Nothing is
tutor.
unsafe.
Rooted to the tutor.
I
That's the
can,
only
yeah,
down south thing
not
I
gonna
think
be
I know.
able to do.
Rooted to
Yeah, not gonna be able to do it, boss. Not gonna be able to do it.
the tutor.
Oh man. It has been a complete pleasure having you on. I hope we get a chance to do this again because I love these kind of conversations.
For sure.
Um,
Same.
let's let's talk about what you got coming up.
All right. So yeah, what I got coming up is like this year I just want to be way more consistent. So I just want to like really the podcast is I'll start with the podcast. The podcast will kind of lean a lot more towards interviewing artists. Before we didn't have we interviewed a lot of people when I really
Yeah.
stopped and think
Mhm.
about it, but we didn't interview as much as we could because we had to balance things out. But now that it's
Mhm.
just me, I would probably like to have more conversations with artists, and then on
Mhm.
the flip side, keep the sports thing coming, you know what I mean? But the main thing will kind of be the artist thing, and then we'll talk sports. That'll kind of be with my Patreon team, to kind of wherever and I'll put those out from time to time, where it's just like what we've been doing, where we do the music, and then we do the sports, and then we do the album coverage. You know what I mean? So
Mhm.
those are kind of the things that will continue with the podcast. Won't be as frequent. Probably do 2 weeks.
Mhm.
Every other week we'll do that just because it's just me and I want to do the music side. On the music side, is just keep hitting them with EPs until I feel like an album is ready. I don't think it's necessary to give y'all 10 to 12 joints
No.
of rushed music if I'm not ready. But I can at any time give you 4, 5, 6
Yeah.
joints. You know what I mean? That's nothing, and that's a quick body of work. And then when the album comes, when I feel like it's ready, I'm always recording songs here in the background. And when I feel like I got something and hit a good streak, then that's the album. But I work in spurts. So but yeah, just be more visible, work with different artists. This year is the goal. So I'm not being shy. I'm reaching out to people. I'm giving them hints here. Hey, you working on that EP? Well, I'm not on it. You got a
Yeah.
spot for me? You know what I mean? Asking those questions,
Mhm.
and kind of just, if you don't ask the question, then you can't get fed. You know what I mean?
There you
So
go.
um, that's what I'm
So,
trying to do, is just work with different people and do whatever I gotta do. You know what I mean? I'll be the sixth man. My man Hype just came through. He's on Blank Canvas as well.
Yo, hype.
Shot
mhm.
Yo,
his
shout out to
shot
hype.
his in studio
Yeah.
video right here in the studio. He did like, a little performance or whatever. I got the cameras, I got the stuff. Let's work. You know what I mean? We talking about doing a possible little rap camp, kind of like Dreamville did back in the day, with a
Ooh.
few
Mhm.
artists,
Dope.
that I've worked with in the past. So, trying to meet out here in VA and go off to the lake, and you know what I mean, and just everybody got their laptop fired up, everybody cooking up verses here, shooting videos here and there and documenting that. So just
Mm.
kind of wherever I need to be, wherever I need to fit in. If I need to be the videographer, that's what I'm gonna be that day. You know what I
Already.
mean? Make myself valuable, to the people. You know what I'm saying? And do my due diligence. I'm not afraid to do the dirty work. So those are some of the things on the agenda. Nothing set in stone. You know what I mean? My mood switches real quick. You know what I mean? So, but yeah, those are just some of the things on the agenda. Nothing definite right
So
now.
we know the name of the podcast, but tell them the name of the podcast and where to find it.
Absolutely. Don't Sleep on the Couch podcast. You can search for us on YouTube. Don't Sleep Network. Then you'll see all of the podcast stuff coming in. And we got so many episodes that
Oh,
it's ridiculous.
Mhm.
So we're just shy of doing 200 episodes. So we got a couple more episodes before we hit official 200. But yeah, you can
wow.
look forward to, like I
Dope.
said, sports, music, entertainment, culture. Ain't nothing for me to pull up the camera and start talking like how Marquise does passionately about his album reviews
Yeah.
and stuff like that. So, kind of got to get used to doing my solo thing. So I'm working that out right now, and then I'll get back to a good rotation after that, to where talking about those different type of things, just trying to see how it fits right now and my personality. We were talking about that earlier, how to make it entertainment with just being me. So that's an art. Shout out to Marquise for doing that, because that's tough to do. For
It
10
is.
minutes, for 10 minutes to entertain people on your reviews
Mhm.
is tough. So you're not
Yeah.
bouncing it. So yeah, just trying to come with that energy and to do
Yeah.
that. And the podcast is just something I'm passionate about, just to be able to give people a platform that I never had, when I stopped rapping, for people that care about hearing their story. You know what I mean? So check it out. Don't Sleep on the Couch podcast. We got a hell of a back catalog. You know what I mean? We do old classic album reviews and stuff like that. So
Mhm.
you know, this possibility is endless with that podcast space, and definitely the business side is something I'm super focused on this year.
So, Marquis, you have anything else?
I just want to thank Cash, man, aka Cash Flow, you know what I'm saying, for coming on, man, with a great conversation, man. That's what I, really enjoyed about you here. Not just your music. I love your music, like I said earlier, I'm a fan of your music. I'm a fan of you podcasting. I'm a fan of your personality as a podcaster.
Likewise,
You know what I'm saying?
and y'all both likewise.
So this podcast here just kind of enlightens your personality more and tells people that, hey, this guy is more interesting just than his music and podcasting. He's more than that. And you gave us that information, man. You gave us that vibe, and I'm pretty sure your fans are gonna grow from this and everything else that you're doing in the near future.
Definitely. I appreciate that, man. Y'all go check out Blank. I say just give me a listen. Blank Canvas, Cash Flow,
Yeah.
4 songs, 12 minutes. You know what I mean? I'll definitely be more intentional this year. Go purchase it, go buy it. It's on Bandcamp. I'm the only one on there. Go check the back catalog. Got some stuff with Furious Styles. Little EP dropped last year.
Yep.
That made a nice little round. Just dropped a song with Furious Styles called Set the Tone.
Yep.
Was on 2 posse cuts with those brothers Numbs, Furious Styles, Abel. So yeah, we've been doing a lot of work with those guys. So go purchase people's stuff, man, because it's man, these things aren't free. These cameras, these lights, these mics, none people put a lot of hard work into. And people, y'all, the fans, y'all shit on people when they sound terrible. So in order to keep them sounding good, or to get a person that has some promise, pay them. Pay your artist.
You could have said it best, man.
Hey,
I
I'm
know
just
it's
being honest.
a lot of people that find themselves too cool to be fans. They support us, but I'm a fan. I've been a fan for a while. I am so happy to talk to you. I'm so blessed that you came on, and I will continue to be in the mix. So I can't wait to see what you do next.
So appreciate that, Queen. Appreciate that, SP. Appreciate y'all having me, man. I can't wait to come back on in another capacity. Y'all always welcome to come on the couch too. So I'm definitely gonna reach out to y'all because I don't like talking to myself often. So definitely gonna have to set something up here in the near future.
Cross podcasting is great.
Absolutely.
Anytime.
The next big album that comes out, I'm definitely gonna reach out, man.
All right.
Anytime.
For sure.
Hopefully I'll stop moving around the country and sit in one spot.
Hey, you gotta do what you do, like you said earlier. Life be lifing.
Life be lifing.
But you made it. But you made it. But you made it. Yeah. For sure.
All right, this is the formula, and we out. Peace.
Peace. Yeah, baby.
Yeah.